to Life is Good. I'm Heather McHugh, your ever-loving hostess, and you'd never guess who we've got here today.
He rocks in the treetop all the day long, hopping and a bopping and a singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, tweet, tweet. Rockin' Robin, tweet, tweet, rockin' Robin.
Hi, it's Dawn, the Flaky Crust.
Dawn from the Flaky Crust right here in Newport. And if you're not watching this in Newport City, Vermont, 05855 is our zip, there's a place you should make a special trip to see. Dawn has an amazing little business here. It's a little nook, but it's so warm and toasty and tasty. So we're going to do biography now, and then we'll get into the Flaky Crust.
I don't know how many people think a nook is 1,100 square foot.
It's 1,100 square.
Well.
My house is 960 square foot.
Exactly,
Is it really
not a
1,100?
nook. Yes, so there's 800 square feet of kitchen, and then there's almost 400 in dining area.
You know
So-
what I feel.
It means it's successful, that it's cozy.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I like the coziness of it, and in Vermont, if we have cozy, we're happy
yeah.
because we're very much like this. Where are you from originally?
Trinidad and Tobago, San Fernando, Trinidad, in particular.
Yeah, do you miss it?
I don't have to because I'm always in touch.
When was the last time you were home?
Well, home is here.
Okay.
I've been here 21 years now.
Well, I've been in the
Pretty
States
much.
for 46 years, and they say, "Do you ever go home?" I'm from Montreal, so
Yeah, casual lingo, but I was there in October for a month, and I have very good friends that remain there, one sibling that still lives there, and aunts, uncles, cousins.
where did the rest of your family disperse to when they left?
So I have 8 siblings, well, they're 8 children, and we live, 2 others reside in the United States. There are 2 in Canada, 1 in the UK, and 1 in Germany.
That's usually the way they spread out.
I don't know, if you have 8, maybe.
Well, I have really good friends from Trinidad. Their families from
Yes.
Trinidad, and they go back all the time. But they have a different experience. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
And when I see them, when there's a wedding, they all come flocking in for the wedding, and so I get invited to the wedding, and I was even included in the family pictures at the last wedding.
Good.
I don't
That
think
means you received a Trini welcome.
a Trini welcome. You can't beat that. I used to work in the Caribbean, but in Barbados.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
And one of your great runners used to come over to Barbados once in a while, and he was just an incredibly good sport, and lovely man. But I cannot remember his name. I have to go and find it.
Okay.
But that was my first introduction to a real native who just visited Barbados and then went home to Trinidad.
Yes.
And I got such a good vibe.
Yeah. Well, it's an island of hospitality,
I guess, but I've never been.
but very commercial, metropolitan.
Very
as
much
well.
so. Very
Yes,
much.
Very much.
What made you land here? And where were you before Newport?
Well, nothing makes you. You make an agreement. It was marriage.
Marriage.
Yeah, I met my ex-husband in the UK, and he was from Peacham, Vermont. And that really ends there.
Yeah, a lot of it does. I ended up in the States because my husband was transferred to Chicago.
Okay.
And in those days, you went where your husband went. And not anymore.
That's not really what happened. But it was certainly the invitation to, what he would say, or what he said was, you can be a big fish in a little pond. So I took that to mean that, the big city life was not something that he would have been comfortable with. And I think in true Trini spirit, we just adjust, we adapt, and we can live anywhere. And and I think I mastered that even though we divorced.
It's true. And, I don't believe you're ever with the wrong person at the time. And if I hadn't met my first husband, where would I be now? I would not be talking with you.
Okay.
I would not be in the place that I adore, which is Vermont.
Yeah.
And he did not bring me to Vermont, but had he not taken me to Chicago and then Oklahoma, it all led me home.
Okay, yeah.
And I think we're so fortunate, and I don't look back at any relationship as a mistake, but as an opportunity.
Yeah,
To
you
lead
can
me to
certainly
what-
make it that way.
Yeah, and look where it got you.
Yeah. Well, it's what I've taken from it. I don't believe in necessarily just getting. It's what you take.
Okay.
I definitely, it's not the typical place that Trinidadians would choose. Certainly not to be this rural. It's certainly not a place that is pretty difficult to leave, the travel times, etc., to get to Trinidad to visit family or friends, to be there for Carnival,
I know.
which is huge, and
I know.
it's approaching in February. To be part of the celebrations, to do weddings, to do all of those other things, but you have to make a decision sometimes in your life to sometimes stand still, and that's the best move.
For me, it is.
Yeah.
If you can't put down roots, you seem to. It's like drifting. And when it came time for me to, when COVID was here, and I was offered, JetBlue offered all of us, get out, stay for 3 months, come back in 3 months, come back in 6 months, come back in a year, or get out. We don't know if we're going to have an airline in a year.
Okay.
And I had lost, well, there were 7 of my peers who had died within the first 8 weeks. And I'm old, so I said, maybe I should leave altogether, and that way I'll be able to spend more time in my home and really start something and be a part of a community instead of a transient every 2 weeks I'm in New York.
Yeah.
It was hard to leave. But
Yeah.
I adjusted. And now, do I miss it? Yes. Do I crave it? No.
Yeah.
Because I've met people like you,
Yeah.
other people who've adapted to
Yeah.
the new circumstances and the new reality.
Yes. Yeah, and it took some learning. I mean,
Oh, does it ever?
it has taken some learning, but it has. I mean, it's been fun. I now know I can probably live just about anywhere.
You can't. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
They used
I
to-
haven't tried the desert. Let me just correction there.
You'd adapt.
I would adapt. I probably would, but that's more of a nomad lifestyle, I think. Yeah.
I'm not cut out to be a nomad.
Yeah. That's what I'll have to decide at this stage.
Well, your daughter will help you decide.
Well, to be fair, she needs to make her own choices when the time comes.
Yes, but she can help you decide if you're going to stay here now or move on before she's finished high school, or
It can be an influence, but again, my life, I honestly believe that one's journey is your own journey. I may have brought her into the world. It may affect certain things that I have to think about, but she's not hostage to me. And I am not hostage to her, certainly by the time she's of age to say, okay, Mom, I'm headed east, west, north, or south. I'll just have to deal with it.
you'll deal with it, and you might follow.
I may follow, but chances are I know she'll come visit is more likely. So where I am,
Well,
she'll come.
I'll tell you my observation of you with your daughter. You're one of the most supportive mothers I've ever met in my life.
Oh, I love her to bits. I actually like her. And so
I like my kids.
Not because she's my daughter. I just like that character. That she is.
I like my children too.
Yes.
They're so funny and so smart and so much fun.
Yes.
So
She does give me a lot of questions,
good.
that make me think, like, who are you fooling, really? She says, well, Mommy, and she started that very little,
Well, I met her when you were walking with her on the bike path. Remember?
Yes. Yeah.
And you brought her up, and you were asking the person I was with, where can I have her learn how to ride a bicycle?
Yes.
And she was sitting there, and she said, Mommy, I would like that. And I think she was 4.
Yes. Yeah, and she does everything. She learns quickly.
And she's popular in
And
school.
she does, and she is popular at school.
Well, I see the apple doesn't fall far from the tree here, because it didn't take Dawn long to put this business on the map in Newport. Now let's talk about the Flaky Crust.
Yes.
I thought you just made pies. I mean,
You didn't know that I can cook.
well, no, I didn't know all of what you're doing, but now you're doing Winter Saturdays, and
Yes.
I've been observing.
Yes, so none of which I went and had an education in the UK or in Trinidad for.
Well, yeah.
You know,
What did you study?
So in Trinidad, I did history first. You know, you have to do that subject just easy till you figure things out. Then when I moved to the UK, I did a little bit of Spanish first, and then I moved on to doing tourism and marketing management. Because by then I decided I don't want a typical life scenario, sitting behind a desk.
Oh, wouldn't that just kill you?
Now I know that, yes.
Oh.
But I had to learn that, because you try jobs because, of course, you got to make money. You do work, and I do have siblings, and they're following the perfect roadmap, and
It's not
and
very
there I
clear.
am wanting to be creative and see more, and I'm just curious about so much. And I did always know that I perhaps would not remain in Trinidad. One of the reasons really is that, you know, we have a largely educated, very well educated population, and there's only so much space on a little island with only so many jobs. So the better you are at different things, you're going to have more competition for that entry, that first entry into the world of work, provided your network just helps you do that. So there's that reality, but I always wanted to live in the UK. I thought, you know, I joke now that I said I want to live in England and I end up in New England. That I should have been more specific about that I want to be in England, UK, and remain. But in retrospect, it's all good. It's
You
all
can always
worked
get
out.
back there.
No. Who wants to go back? Back.
You can visit. You can visit there.
Back.
You can always visit there in the future.
Well, I do. You know, visiting is
Not the
well, we don't know with the world circumstances now, but
What do you think of
I
Stomach?
have. You know, 21 years here doesn't mean that I haven't been back and forth. Where I want, I travel freely. You know, I don't have complications
Same here.
of that nature to limit, and I'm just simply too curious. The one thing that I do know is that I like knowing where the borders are to go somewhere. I was it was a little shocking to be landlocked for an island girl. It's like, oh, you mean you just keep driving here and you're still in America? Whereas everywhere else I lived was an island, right? Even the UK.
Well, Montreal's
it's
an
the
island, too.
and you go there and you can get out. So I always needed to know I was close to a border to go experience something different, something new.
You've got the Northern Star here. You can take a cruise up Lake Memphremagog.
We can. but
get off.
I gotta get off. I gotta touch Earth, meet people, engage. Really
Yeah.
engage in whatever space I am, become part of it, which has been helpful with. You asked about the flaky crust, that's part of it with the pies and the nature of the pies, so they're not just sweet, savory, traditional American pies. They come from the gamut of all of the life experience and lived food experiences that I have, both from my culture in
Love it,
Trinidad,
love it.
both from my culture in Trinidad and from my life in the UK. I don't know if you know, but the population of Trinidad and Tobago is hugely diverse.
I do know.
Yeah, so between having people of the African descent and the East Indian descent in the majority, then we have the Syrian, Lebanese, the Chinese, the Portuguese.
Huge Spanish, because they were the ones who overtook.
No, so that's a grave.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, no. It's a British colony, and the British were in Trinidad from the 18th century, and we remain majority English speaking, but for the influx of some Venezuelans during their difficult time. But we're not Spanish.
I know, but...
We're not majority.
No, I'm not saying they're the majority, but
Or anything.
historically, the Spanians were one of the first people to take...
They were the first.
Yeah, and...
They were the first to relieve the natives.
That is... And I know...
So this history is always the same of the European coming, right?
Right.
There are native people, the Arabs and the Tainos and the Caribs, being those that populated both Venezuela and Trinidad. So geographically, Trinidad is just like a little broken piece off of Venezuela. So we're topographically the same land mass, but we're different people at this point based on the European changes in governance of the islands.
I'm not a fan of the early taker honors of people to colonize.
But if there was no colonization, persons like me wouldn't be here if I have to use that sort of thing.
No,
So
you can follow that timeline, but any kind of takeover and pushing out of the original culture chafes, because it's not a natural progression. It is politically, because by nature people take over from one another, but I don't like the influx of a new, let's say, I used to work in Barbados, and it was so British, and there was an uprising, but there were slaves. They enslaved the ancestors of the people I worked with when the British came. And I look at them, and they've pulled out of colonization. They've pulled out of being protected by the Commonwealth, or just being a part of that, still very friendly, but they're no longer a part of the Commonwealth as of a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I don't consider that a huge divorce. I consider that getting back to roots.
it would not be true. So we're going to disagree on that.
No, okay, go ahead.
So, as a colonized person, what I can say, I can't speak for Barbados, but I believe the Caribbean history or New World history is pretty much largely similar. There are native people that populate islands. You know, this is the New World, as they call it, the Americas. And you have Christopher Columbus, and you know the Caribbean is older than the United States in terms of being populated by Europeans. And in our case, we had the Spanish, then we had the French come in alongside, and that's 14th century and 15th century until the British came. But the Spanish and French ruled in and about together in Trinidad and Tobago for a while. You know, it's all about projecting economics. And when it behooves them that it was time to introduce slavery in order to work the land in terms of agriculture, sugarcane being the largest thing, there's more interest in the archipelago of the Caribbean. when they bring in the Africans and we populate, then there is the freedom of the slaves. And as free men, do you want to continue to work land? You know, all of this is part of the beginnings of the carnival or the dance expression through the streets of Trinidad and Tobago, and it's been shown across the world. You know, that idea of the mimicking of European celebrations to the street with the masks. Those are part of what have been added to us, because we have for the 400 years, there is no connection to Africa more than what could be passed down, what could be, what I guess some people would say you feel in your spirit or your bone. Other than that, there is only European learning, very different from what I am learning, and I say that cautiously only because I am not African American, in that we have not lived in segregation.
Oh,
it's a huge, huge piece of the differentiation
it's
in
recent
what
history.
we understand.
It's recent history in this country.
Correct
and
for
in
you
South
guys,
Africa.
but in South Africa and here, but in the Caribbean we don't. When the slaves were liberated, then the East Indian indentured laborers and all the others came in and intermarried.
That's good.
And have children, so we have people that you can't tell what their heritage is. So they may be from all the heritage. You know, and if you have enough siblings, you see a whole different spectrum of what people may look like. And I don't know that you can call anything that has come into a space and had to make that space home can ever go back to what is an unknown. It's the history is simply too far off. We can go to different places now with ancestry, etc., to see, well, okay, where's my nose come from? My nose is different from my mother's nose because her family came from X, Y, or Z place. So did I take on more of my dad's heritage? That sort of stuff. Is he more African? Is my mother more Euro-African? You know, those sorts of things is, you know, as to pulling all that history and how much time you spend in pulling that history, rather than, well, I present this way and so therefore I am this way, but then you hear an accent and you wonder, well, why does she have this accent? Where does this belong for? What's the catchment in that? Which is something I often go through here.
Well, you know, you come from Trinidad, but you're the least Trinidadian accent I've ever heard. You're so British. And you know, I love both. I love both. I love both.
Yes.
But
Yes.
let's just agree on that. When I wasn't ever suggesting that we go back in time.
Not to go back in time, but to hold on to what exactly is your culture. What exactly is your culture is the
Where
thing
you are
that
now.
brought you are is where you are now,
And
and it's the amalgamation and the peace that you accept with most of that. It may not, because it's an untidy history. It's an unkind history, largely, but we're present, and you may even, in fact, think that you got the better lot
I do.
if you're living now.
I do. And it's funny because I just made a video, which will be aired another time, just on my Facebook feed, because I make positive videos if I can. And the one I was just making was about being grateful for my ancestors. Because every night when I go down to the swamp, I live on a swamp, and I go down to the swamp and I thank my ancestors by name, the ones I knew. My great-grandparents, my grandparents, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, and my brother, who are there in the ether somewhere. And I speak to each one of them, and it keeps them closer to my soul. But I also thank my ancestors who I've never met. And I say, somewhere up there's a Cro-Magnon human being who was fertile enough to give birth to somebody who gave birth to somebody who gave birth to somebody. And here I am, and thank you, because I love my life. And I am very grateful for everything in the past, good and bad. And when I taught the Holocaust to elementary students around the state. It was my program. And at the end of each time I would introduce them to the Holocaust, I would say, and do you think anybody in here or in our country could ever do this? No. And then I go through, well, there were the Crusades, there was Genghis Khan, there was taking over from the Native American, and here we are.
But
And so that is still part of us too.
But you immigrated here.
I was talking to them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the Germans immigrated here. The Jews immigrated here. To the United States, it has had the continuous migration of people. So
That's why I'm saying in any country.
even in Latin America.
I know, but what I was making the point of saying, anybody, anywhere, in any environment, in any country, has the potential to cause a Holocaust, to create one. Because it's within all of us, because of the multitude of people in our past, it's in our DNA. Is that what that's what I was going for? Do you agree with that? And I'm not judging my past. I can love the people in my past no matter what they might have done, good or bad. Because we bring that forward.
Yes.
And I write and make videos and paint, and you bake. And
That's one of the things. Yeah, I do.
What
I
else do you
bake,
do?
I cook.
What else do you do?
Well, I'm a mom, so you've got to do everything that these young people want to do right now.
When you're at home, what do you cook?
I actually don't get to cook that much at the beginning of this year now. I started just adding on. If the oven's on, I just do lots of things. Why? Because, I'm getting older and I want to eat a little differently with certain things than I used to do. She has we do a very Trinidadian meal spectrum, which means all over the place. It's lots of dal puri, curry, doubles. Pilau is my favorite thing. She says she's so tired of pilau. Pilau is a rice and peas and chicken or beef casserole type mixed meal that I particularly love. And I guess some people would think like it's a pilaf of sorts, but I love it. And so I cook that often. And then you just sort of make do like everybody else, because how much food do people really want to eat? How much food do you have to do extra when I've got this kitchen and I'm
Of course.
making pasties and pies and it's back to savory eating again,
If
where I'm
anybody ever-
doing the spectrum.
True. Well, if anybody's ever seen the movie Billy Elliot or the live play, which is the best play I've ever seen. I've seen. I'm a theater lover, but Billy Elliot with the original cast in London was absolutely the most gut-wrenching, moving, fabulous. Oh, it just got me going so much, and it was a majestic play. It was strong. It was during, it was about the coal mines closing during the time of you know who, and they were having pasties. They were always having pasties, and I had really, as many times as I've been to London and around there, I had never heard of pasties.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the influx of so many cultures that brought them in.
Yes.
And it sure beats British cooking all the heck.
I'm gonna say, be quiet on that one.
Okay. Well, roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. Okay, that's fine, but when you're over there, and I got my oxtail soup. But pasties. Tell me, in case you've never tasted one, what is your favorite one to make, and what sells the most here?
I don't have a favorite, mostly because I have to eat it. At some point, I have to do the tasting to go through it. They're traditional pasties. Most people would think of the Cornish pasty, which is, patented. That is a trade mark. It must have 17 crimps and, all the specifics of how the dough is formed and crimped. And then what you put in it, you know, there is the steak, potato, and rutabaga.
Is there dessert
and
at one
turnip.
end?
No.
Okay.
That's
We won't go there. Thank you.
no. I know that Great British Bake Off, right? That they can show people.
They can ruin anything.
The point is that no, I don't think it's ruining. I think it's creative. What happens for me in the kitchen is while there is the traditional standard of how you would do something, like I said, steak, potato, and rutabaga. While you put salt, black pepper, and you roll it, fold it to 17 crimps, and bake. Why not have anything that comes from whatever region you are that can be harvested and preserved? The shell itself is your package.
Is it a standard
You know.
recipe for the dough?
It can't be standard. With Cornish, yes, pasty, but people have the option of using different. First of all, in the UK, you'd perhaps be close to or attached to a butcher, and you get the fresh cuts of different types of beef skirt, and things that are pretty expensive here
Yeah.
to connect to. Beef skirt, the pork, you know, that you might choose to use, etc., and the type of cuts that you get from it. And then you may use sweat, which Americans don't seem familiar with except to feed birds. But
Oh, suet.
yes, the sweat is it's part of the dough. Yes, but it's straight from the animal, related to the kind of pie that you would do. So you would dice that into the dough. You can do that. You can do the pork, lard. The lard being usually, at least in my world, it's organ fat, leaf lard, which comes out cleaner than if you use any of the other types of lard.
Like Crisco.
Fat. Well, we're not even talking that. I do not cook with anything that is synthetic.
That I heard.
So-
I'm glad we got that up. because I would
Yeah,
have
there is
forgotten that.
nothing. There is my freezers of stacked with butter, and for the pork pies, I have introduced using the leaf lard. One of the big reasons is because the farmers are left with a lot of that as you cut the meat so lean, and it's a burden. So
Where do you
I'm
get it?
able to do that. I don't like to have my sauces too much, but from different farms actually, because I just need to spread that out in terms of how I do it and when I do it, because you know, let's just face it, rendering is not a fun job.
No, it's not.
But you gotta render, and it takes time and curing, and then you have that ability in order to do that. And that's reserved for my pork pies. Other than that, I have butter. I use between Cabot or whatever is the lesser expensive at the time, but definitely European style butter.
Salted.
So, no, baking. Heather.
I'm throwing you curves. I'm just wanting to know.
There's no curve in my business. I know what I do.
I know. Well, you see, maybe
There is no salted butter.
Well, I had to ask because I didn't know.
It doesn't. Bakers just don't do salted butter. I mean, that's a specific and added thing,
That's one more mistake I've been making all my life.
because you want to control. Your recipe has, when you're volume breaking, this isn't just home size. What you do at home, you do at home. But when you want to produce volume, you begin to want to get control or mastery of what portions of what are in something, so that anybody, if you pass that recipe on, can do that. If you do that by cups and stuff, it becomes a hassle.
I know. I've never measured anything.
We weigh it.
No, I throw it together until I get the right consistency, and very few people eat at my house. No, I started. My mother was an invalid. I started
Yeah.
cooking meals when I was 9,
Yeah.
and my brother and I would just want to cook as much as we can, as fast as we can, and so my father didn't get angry. He had to have it on the table when he got home from work, so he could go to the hospital and visit my mom. But we got very good very soon when it came to making it quickly and getting it to turn out so Dad wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
And I've carried that forward. And my son is a chef. My daughter married a chef. They're very much into the feel of it because they do it so often.
Yeah.
And
Well, this isn't
And it's
cooking. This is with baking. There is a lot of discipline and control that has to happen. You cannot just toss things into the premiere part of it. You will be starting over every time, and it will never be the same.
I wanted everyone to hear
every
that so that they
time.
don't eat at my house.
We may take the chance, and that may be the good day.
I would love it.
Let us be optimistic. It may be the good day.
This is the end of January, but my family is so busy that we got together on Christmas, but it was laid back in front of the fire, lots of laughing, but nothing formal. Mm-hmm. And so last night we had our Christmas dinner, and of course I wanted to cook a salmon because nobody likes turkey except me.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to cook a salmon, and I was making broccoli, and I was going to make mashed potatoes because my daughter-in-law likes mashed potatoes. I had all this already, and my son said, "I'll bring you a salmon, Mom. I'll order it. I'll bring the salmon, and I'll bring it over early, and you can do your thing with it." And my daughter said, "I'll come over and help you with the doodaddies," and by 4 o'clock nobody had shown up. I went, how long are they going to be, Because I've got everything else ready to just turn on the stove. And they showed up at about 4:30 with everything to go in the oven, and I didn't do anything except the broccoli, and everything else was taken care of. And I did carrots. It's like, well, what am I going to cook? You brought the ingredients, but you've cooked it. They said, "Yeah, Mom, we cooked it."
Oh,
We cooked it. We wanted to save you the trouble, Mother.
Oh.
And it was delicious. But,
yes.
But they're professional.
Yeah.
And it was.
So you had a wonderful Christmas dinner.
It was phenomenal. And I
Excellent.
barely lifted a finger, and they were very happy about that.
Perhaps it's time.
It's
Just time, See what flew out of the nest has become.
well, they're domineering. They dominate me, and I don't mind.
Okay.
However, I do have something funny. I sleep with a hot water bottle. My windows are open, but I sleep with a hot water bottle.
Yes.
And I was just getting over a bad injury because I couldn't walk for a few weeks because I threw out my artificial hip.
Nice.
Yeah, I wore it out.
Oh.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I sleep with a hot water bottle and the windows open, and I was just learning how to walk again, and the hot water bottle burst. And I thought, oh my goodness, what's that? And I got up, and the mattress was full because I put 2 liters.
Okay. Yeah.
And I thought I should take a picture and tell my kids I'm ready for the home.
Oh God.
They do everything else They do everything else for me, And it's like maybe I should just humor them a bit. But when it comes to cooking, I've got to say, isn't it wonderful that people love to do it?
Yes, because they're dishes to wash. And that's the biggest pain. I know everybody sees all the fancy shows and all of that. They never really show you what the wash up and tidy up look.
Well, when I got here today, you were doing some washing up, right?
Yeah, because I do the full circle, the full cycle of my product. I do everything. And there is peace and meditation, actually, when I work in it.
I call it my zen.
Yes.
I sent the kids away. Don't touch my kitchen. My son designed my kitchen, and there's only room for one person in it. I said, go home now. I will do these. But, Mom, we're leaving it with such a mess. That's my zen. I love soapy water. I love making things neat. I love putting things where they belong. And I saw you doing that when I got here.
Yes. Well, there's something they refer to as mise en place.
We know it. Mise en place, we know our place.
Mise en place. And you've got a lot to do. You want to find it. And even though I work on my own, you always envision the day that you have to share the space or you have to have someone else assist, and you want them to be able to access it so it gets the job done efficiently, quickly, and with less disturbance to you, or less, so that you can focus. Sometimes it does take me a pause because I'm so used to being in there myself.
Do you want someone to work for you
Pause.
or work with you?
Is
Is the demand growing?
The demand is growing. I have paced it based on what I have capacity to do. When we take a tour of the kitchen, you will see that it is possible, even if you're doing division of labor, to have that. But more so, even if I'm controlling the back of the kitchen, doing the baking and prep, if I did open, most people asked about retail. If I do open for retail stably, then there is someone to host that part of it. I'm not in a hurry because it has to be right.
I agree with you.
It is not as simple. I respect so many influences of the TV scene. For example, I come from a culture where even having my hair out like this to prepare a meal is perhaps like, whoo, what are you doing? We gotta think twice about if we will purchase from you. To tell someone here to put their hair up is a big deal.
Well, I work for the airlines.
Yeah.
If you have anything below your shoulder,
Yeah.
you put it up.
Yeah.
And these are the rules. These are
are basics.
basic, and
they're there to protect
the customer.
your customer, yourself, your product, what you have spent the hours and time waiting for this great transaction to happen. But there's a culture, again, because of what we see on television, that there's a scapegoat to that. And I'm not I can work on it. Being in the place where, that's just the rule and that's just the rule.
And you make that rule in your restaurant, you'll have more respect from the public.
That's right.
And I'm sorry if it isn't adhered to, I think twice about eating.
Yeah, it's that, it's accidents happen because hair isn't just on your head, right?
No.
You got eyelashes.
Wax on, wax off.
You got eyelashes, you got all kinds of stuff that's falling out. But you don't
I hate
want
when I lose my upper plate in the stew.
Yeah, but we don't want to have what we can manage. We want to manage.
Yeah.
Because we care about the end result and the translation.
I think that's right. Speaking of going through your kitchen, you want to do that now? Take me on a little tour of all those marvelous areas?
Okay.
All right. We're going to
that.
go and see the Flaky Crust. If you're on Main Street in Newport, this is the old tasting center.
Yes.
And it's right on Main Street and across the road from whatever's across the road. Is that the Rad Rags there?
Well, no, Rad Rags is lower down. We're just at the crosswalk on Main Street. You'd see Witch's Brew and Soul is opened up. But it's the open lot that's across the street.
Oh, the open lot is across the street. So you have a view, which is lovely, right? Let's go and look at your kitchen. On Saturdays, the Flaky Crust does the food service for winter Saturdays. Every Saturday night from 6 o'clock to 9, live music right here at the Tasting Center, 150 Main Street, Newport. $10 cover, and then you can go right across from the dance hall to the Flaky Crust. Walk right up to the counter and get yourself the most amazing savory pasty. Lovely, lovely. And if you come to the dance on Saturday night, winter Saturdays, there are tables and chairs, lots of places to dance. It's just the most amazing place, all put together by the young people. And Newport Downtown Development.
Oh, hello and welcome to the Flaky Crust kitchen itself. I'm Dawn,
here.
Owner, chef, miracle maker.
Understatements there.
Yeah. Well, I guess I want to focus on the homemade savory pies first, and that is predominantly what I specialize in, and that I chose that because I like good food, and I felt the gamut of vegetables and meats, etc., get better utilized that way and celebrated in a way that I like. You make a nice crust and you have a meal. And it makes it handy, so they, whether you have a pasty or a pie, it's individual service. Yes, it may fill you and you may have the ability to share. Most people don't like sharing. Okay, so this is where most of the work happens. The reason the kitchen is so divided, like I recessed most of the baking parts and meat parts because, it was 800 square foot and I had to figure out how I wanted to operate in the space. So I have my counter that I do most of my dough processing parts of it. The stainless steel where I work with any meat type items, of course, on the varied colored boards and, all the kitchen rules that have to happen. This here is a chicken pie that I am going to have for dinner because I use my scraps. Nothing goes to waste in the kitchen. The racks here, these are some of the molds depending on the pie that I'm making, whether I use it upside down, whether I use it on the inside. Lots and lots of this. This means what? A lot of dishwashing. And I love these. These come so handy in the summer because nowhere escapes having flies, that kind of stuff. So I did bother to get the extra assistance to make sure things can stay and cool out without being disturbed by anything. Sink, which, is a typical kitchen. It's what it is. A little extra rack here. And another countertop here. This one actually has water added to it as well. So that when I need to use it for meat and for scraping vegetables or anything, I can. But temporarily, I've got a little fry-later here, and very temporarily, I put it upside down to drain.
My gosh.
That is my 60 quart basin that does dough. So
You make 60 quarts at once?
yes, I separate it, and then depending on the type of crust that I need to use, it's more than enough to do. I have the meat slicer again.
Oh, I'm worried
if that
about your
needs to
hands.
do.
When I see one of those, I get very worried about somebody's fingers.
Oh, well, again, there are a lot of the machinery in the kitchen, as dangerous as you may think, there are safeties, and you have to use your safeties. This is one, this is one. Things you have to do, use your safeties. All the knives at the back. I have 2 ovens. Well, make that 3-4 ovens.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't use all at the same time. I typically use the standard budget.
If you did use them at the same time, would you blow a fuse?
No, only if I get mad that something burnt. No, I have an excellent backdrop and this gorgeous hood. I just love this hood. Probably want to know why.
I have never
love
seen
red.
anything so big.
It is humongous and beautiful. I love her. I love her. I love her. I can't express. You need to see. I love red. I love my red. The story of this oven is so for most people in Newport, you remember Cinta. Rest in peace.
God bless.
And so I met Cinta how many years ago? About 17 or 18 years ago. And she would order my flour for me. That was my first thing with baking at home. And so over the years, we got to know each other, and she did help quite a lot in terms of, you know, getting orders, because, you know, I didn't have all that big space at home. And this was her oven. And so when they were closing the program, I just felt it was good to bring it back. It does run a little hot sometimes, so you will know if I did use this oven, because things might get a little darker than usual. But still beautiful, still works.
And still very sentimental.
And yeah, I think there has to be a carrying on of some things, and so this was my something old. Because I am married to my kitchen.
It's all right. I don't think a divorce is imminent.
No.
Well, Dawn,
No.
Dawn, it's just been unbelievably great to speak with you.
I wanted to tell you about this machine.
Please do. It looks amazing.
This machine is a John Hunt press. So those molds go in here so that I can shape some of the pie crust that you do see. My original recipes on the crust, whether I use butter or pork, again, if depending on what I'm making for the crust, but it heats up and it's on hydraulics, and she goes boom. I still have to move it, very manual,
You have to be
but it
careful
does
of
allow.
tendinitis.
Oh, what's that?
Be careful you don't get tendinitis.
No, but the story with this gorgeousness here, I mean, I just love it. I do love it. The gentleman that owned Piecemeal Pies, when they retired, I asked them to keep it as an option, that they would part with it. I understand what they would have gone through to get it from the UK. It's straight from John Hunt, custom made. And took 3 years, but last year was a golden year, 2025. He called me and said, Dawn, if you want it, it's yours. So I feel very blessed and honored that pretty special people who did special things chose me to pass things over to.
Well,
So it's really touching for me.
the fact that you add emotion to everything in here makes me
Because
realize.
it's alive.
Yes.
It's alive. And I feel alive in the kitchen. Don't worry about me alone in the back here. I'm having the most fun.
I get it. I totally get it. Anyway, we thank you very,
Yes.
very much for this interview, because you're a great asset to Newport and the entire Northeast Kingdom.
Thank you.
And when the Flaky Crust starts retail, let me know.
I will, absolutely.
And until that time, let's have everyone come and support you here on Main Street and have a delightful, delicious, wonderful time, and meet Dawn, who you will never regret knowing. You know, I learned a lot from you today, and I thank you for that.
Oh, that's both ways.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you're watching Life is Good, we thank you for watching Life is Good, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers. Bye.
Cause you're really gonna rock tonight.